I'm Audrey Foster with Nebraska Extension in Custer County, and I'm their summer employee. For today's workshop, we're going to be creating embroidered self-portraits, or embroidered faces if you don't necessarily want to do a self-portrait. So today we're going to be learning the basic arts of embroidery and just working with textiles and yarn. So as you can see, we're going to have a bunch of opportunities for creativity and to switch up what you do. Here's just the sample I made. Now let's get started. For this workshop, we just need a few basic materials. A pillowcase. If you don't necessarily have one at home that fits the pillow you're wanting to make it for, then you can follow the tutorial that I've listed in the description to make a pillowcase. This one also has an envelope back, but this isn't necessarily necessary. So you're going to need your pillowcase and your pillow form that fits it. You're also going to need some various colors of yarn, such as for the hair, but then also for the lips and eyes. Then you're also going to need a yarn needle that can be used with wool, a pair of thread scissors, and a pencil to transfer our design onto our pillowcase. For this, you want to make sure to use a pencil or similar marking utensil. You do not want to use a pen for this. So our first step is going to be to draw the face. You can use a template and tracing paper for this if you'd like, but I'm just going to freehand it. So what I'm going to do is I want my eyes to fall right around here. So I'm going to go ahead and gently mark those in. One eye. And two eyes. Then I'm going to go ahead and put eyelashes on each of them. You don't want to draw too darkly on this because in case you don't perfectly cover it up with your thread. Also, remember that we will be stitching over this, so it doesn't have to be exactly perfect at this point in time. Okay, so as you can see, I have my eyes there, then I'm going to go ahead and draw the mouth. There we go. And then we can go ahead and draw the hair. For my person's hair, I want it to have curly hair. So I'm going to do a whole bunch of curly cues. Just going to start at the top. Just one curl. We'll do another curl off of that one. Do another one. You can do your hair for this however you'd like, and it can be very, very complex. Or it could be pretty simple as well. Once we've drawn everything onto our template and it's to where you want it, we're ready for our next step using our needle and yarn. So I want my person to have yellow hair. So I'm going to go ahead and just get out about an arm's length of yarn and cut it using my thread scissors. You can use the I'll have to get multiple amounts of yarn while I'm working on this, so don't worry about trying to get enough for the whole thing at this moment. And then I'm going to go ahead and thread my needle. And then I'm going to make sure that I have tied it into a knot, and I'm going to tie both ends together here. Like so. And this is just your average craft yarn, and this is just some extra that I found in our yarn pile. So there we go. Then I'm going to cut off my ends, and from there we're ready to get started. So I've got my needle and yarn, and then I don't want to stitch through my whole entire pillowcase. So what I'm going to do is move to the inside of my pillowcase and start at one of the ends, and then I'm just going to poke my needle through, pull my yarn through. So for this first type of stitch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small stitch here, and then if I could show you guys what I'm doing, like so. Okay, so I've got one stitch here. Then what I'm gonna do is, okay, you can kind of see that. I've taken one stitch and I'm gonna go ahead and poke my needle through a little ways away. You see that? But I'm still on my marking line. And you wanna make these as even as you can, but I realize that this can be tricky and require some practice. So I've left a little bit of room there, and then I'm gonna go back to where I poked it through before, but I'm gonna make sure that, you know how we doubled over our yarn there? I'm gonna make sure that I go in between my two yarns, and I'm just gonna stick it back where it was before. And then we're just gonna pull it through. Okay, and see, there I have another stitch. And I'm just gonna continue that for all of my hair. So it might take me a little bit, but this could be a good thing to do with siblings or with friends, and you can visit or else maybe turn on a TV show while you're working. So I've gone ahead, and then I'm gonna go back here, stick my yarn through. So it's not the speediest process, but the end result will definitely be worth it. There we go. And if you notice, I'm not keeping it pulled super tight as I go, but I want to make it so that the fabric does not pucker. So I'm making sure that they're evenly spaced and everything. So good luck stitching. I'll check back in with you guys in a little bit. So next up, we're going to do the eyes. And what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called a back stitch. And so what we do for a back stitch is let's see, just going to get started here. So that was one of our eyelashes, but then to start on the lid of our eye, have here, and in backstitch we take a little bite out of the fabric, and then we backstitch to join up with the other line of stitching, and then we're just going to continue this for the entire length of the eyelid and the eyelashes. So once again, here I'm taking a little bite of fabric, and then I'm joining up with the rest of my stitching. And you'll continue this for both eyelids. Now we have both the hair and the eyes done, so now we're ready to move on to the lips. So for the lips, we're gonna be using what's called a satin stitch, which is pretty much just a long stitch. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start on the corners, and we're just gonna go across the length of the mouth. So here we go. We're just going to be stitching across it lengthwise. So we're going to be doing a series of stitches such as this. So there you see we have two, and we're just going to keep on and going. Okay. So there's the start, and I'm going to let you guys continue it on your own. After you've tied off your knots, you're done with your pillowcase. There are many variations that you could do with these. You could switch up different colors of yarns or weights of yarn, or even add paint to them to spruce them up. Now that we've each created our embroidered self-portraits, I'm very excited to see what each of you guys came up with. Keep in mind that you can get very creative with these by what color you make, or what style you make the hair. I mean, you could make it straight and blue, or you could do curly and yellow, such as what I did. You can also switch up the expressions and do all sorts of things. Here was one of my samples, but I also made a different pillow top for a different one. I just haven't quite made the whole pillowcase yet. And here's another one. So I'm excited to see you guys' creativity and have fun.